Morning kind of got off to a weird start. This particular piece of public is what's known as iWeha, part of the iSportsman program that Kansas runs, which has a maximum number of hunters, and it requires a sign-in. And I got ready to pull in this morning, and there were two fellas. There was a vehicle parked, and two fellas I could hear them calling. So I got my blind set up and everything. The bird was roosted right where I expected him to be. And they were on the other side of the field, so I got the blind set up and walked over, and of course they weren't signed in. I tried to play stupid. Oh, this is sign-in? And they said, you can hear them gobbling in the background. They said they were going to leave. We'll see. Turkeys and deer, but turkeys, given the season, do strange things to people. Make them do things they normally wouldn't do. I'm not big on the whole entitlement game, but when it's a piece of public that requires a sign-in, and I reserved it last night legally, it's my duty to let them know that they're not supposed to be here without signing in. If this was just regular public that didn't require a sign-in, I probably would have talked to him a little more and joined up with him. But regardless, I'm not going to let it get me down. It's part of hunting. I'm just going to hold my ground. The good thing is, the birds didn't roost over here like they normally do because those coyotes came through. So that seems to have, from what I hear from the gobbling, it pushed all the birds up the other way. But he seems to be working this bench up here behind me that runs along these fields. I don't want to call too much. I don't want to call at all, honestly, in light of that. I've kind of proven to myself that I can set up and put myself with this blind and put myself where these turkeys want to be and feel comfortable being. So I'm just going to sit here and hang out and listen to the gobbles and see what happens. When the gobbling subsides, I'll probably give it a half hour, and then I may call. But from the way it sounds, I think if I just... He's getting close to that field right there. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Old boy wouldn't be gobbling that much if he had hens. See if we can coax him over. I brought the strutter decoy, and I have switched out for the Black Widow. I'm shooting right-handed now. Now that I've put all my knowledge together. And I'm at least in the stadium. around the field. That's our boy. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. We got one over here and one behind me. It's probably been about 15-20 minutes since I talked to those fellas. They said they were gonna leave, and they have it. His way of thinking is, because he asked me, he said, well, where are you at? You're over there? Well, you're right where the birds are at. Then he said that they were going to pack up and leave. And they have it. What do you do in this situation? I guess that depends on who you are as a person. I could throw a big hissy, call a game warden, get him over here. I'm just gonna be patient and see how it plays out. Now, if they mess up my hunt at all, I'm gonna have words with them. I'm gonna be talking to them regardless if they're still here when I decide to leave. But what do you do in this situation, you know? can't march across the field and talk to them again. I got birds within 100 yards of me. You know what I do in these situations? I just pray. I pray and I see what the good Lord has in store. I might be the author of my own book, but he's the editor. Yeah, I've definitely got 2 birds. I'm in a good spot. Probably could have made a bolder statement by taking the video camera over with me and filming them. Regardless, I'm gonna sit here and hang out and see how everything unfolds. That's all you can do. Finally, can't get them on film, but finally those fellas left, are leaving. Birds quit gobbling. It's fine it played out that way, but it goes to show, despite this being an IWEA where you have to sign in and claim your spot, reserve it, there's a maximum amount of hunters. These fellows come in here, don't sign in, get confronted by the person that legally has the right to be here, and they hang out until the birds stop gobbling. If this was just public land, like I said, this would be a whole different story. But given the parameters and circumstances and nature of this, I think it pissed anybody off a little bit. I mean, they didn't harm anything. But it's the point. Oh well, regardless, they're leaving. And now, back to my regularly scheduled hunt. I don't expect anything for a while. I'm looking at an hour or two or more of dead time, I believe. I'm not gonna get all wild and try and get one fired up or anything. I'm just gonna stick with my strategy. These birds don't mind being here. They travel through here daily, it seems. I need to just hold my ground, hold my spot, be patient. Give it long enough, something will happen. It's been probably 10 minutes since those fellas left. These birds just started gobbling again. Actually, quite a few birds started gobbling, which is typical. Everybody wants to know where everybody's at. The bird that stayed out here in the field, that I'm assuming got the hen or hens, has held his ground. And the bird that went the opposite way seems to be coming back. And there's birds in multiple directions, so still grass on the field to play ball, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's about 8:30, 8:45, and I've started to notice that the two fellas' truck from this morning has driven by a few times. Probably checking to see if I've left. I'm gonna have to check my tires for nails around them, because I obeyed the law and reserved my right to hunt here. Hopefully it's not the case. I believe it's not the case. But they do indeed keep driving by. I'd rather not deal with any kind of crap like that today. But back to the birds. It's been pretty silent, which is to be expected. Strategy is a big player. My hopes now are for a bird to just come out into this field on its own. But I do truly believe that I've still got birds behind me. Based on my scouting, there's a lot of scratching in there. They spend a lot of time there. So either a bird's gonna let one rip on his own, we might be able to work him in, or a bird's gonna show up. And hopefully these jokers in the truck quit driving by. Doesn't make me nervous about my turkey hunting. They're not gonna ruin my hunt, but you just never know what type of people you're dealing with. Anywho, back to the turkey hunt. put an arrow through that bird. I don't know what the hell's going on. My arrow lays right there. Come on, buddy. Stumble, something. What's going on? What in the world is going on? Well, all that just happened. In typical fashion, the bird came out of where I expected, where I had hoped, planned, prayed for, and he marched right up to the decoy. I was a little... I had all the time in the world to shoot. I still shot when the opportunity was perfect, and I got the arrow. Minimal blood, but there is blood. I don't know. That bird has no idea what happened. I've just got to give it time, and I know right where he went. It's a waiting game at this point. If I struck anything vital, it could take a little bit for him to get settled down. It all comes down to this. I wish I would have waited until he stepped right in frame, but how do you not react? It's a big how do you do when you start out having the morning that I did. And then you look up and once again, there's a longbeard 10 yards from the blind. There's a chance that that is a non-fatal hit. I don't believe, if it's a non-fatal hit, I don't believe that that bird will die from that wound. But if I can confirm that just that, then I guess I'm not done hunting. And it wasn't meant to be. So here I am. All that for this. Fingers crossed that I got him, but alright, so I've gotten out, recovered my arrow, obviously, and I followed the path of that bird all the way around this field, around that next point, and I've searched. That point is where the creek comes to a very sharp bend, so it's very narrow between the field and where it drops off to the creek bed, and he wasn't there. So my plan is, I'm not going to stop looking for him, but given his behavior and what I've learned from this field and these turkeys and the pecking order and how things run around here, I'm gonna hang out the rest of the day, and I feel like that bird is either going to gobble at least or show up back in this field. That being said, I'm just gonna hang tight, be patient, and see how the rest of the day plays out. But my feelings and my gut tell me that bird is not gonna die. It was a breast hit, superficial, clean, sharp broadhead, zipping through him. No different really than that blood blister that came from taking this blind down. There was blood everywhere. But speaking of that, there's just minimal blood on the arrow and nothing but fat. That turkey just, he doesn't know what happened. And that's the important part. If I would have gotten out and ran after him or reacted in that fashion, that would have ran him off. He walked away. I had a long time to look at him. He wasn't stumbling, staggering. He never missed a beat. He turned around to actually start and come back. But I didn't want to call to him. So I pray and I wait. This day has been a roller coaster, lots of ups and downs. I took my time, I picked my spot. I was sure, and I released, and I watched that arrow pass completely through that bird, and I thought, oh boy, I did it. But after that was over, he got out here about 40 and slowed down and stood there, turned around, took a few steps, started to come back this way. You could tell he just had no idea what happened. I've watched the shot a million times on the film. I've watched the footage afterwards. I've inspected my arrow. And I am fully confident that that bird is alive and well. Yes, that is the worst case scenario, but that doesn't always happen. As a matter of fact, I've had 4 turkeys in my life, 3 of which that I shot with a shotgun. 5 turkeys, I'm sorry, that I've shot with a shotgun and rolled, only to have them get back up and run away. And naturally, that's where my mind went. That turkey's gonna fly off and die. I went back a week or less later, after those facts, and was able to harvest the very same bird. And you've got to be able to roll with it. You've got to be, that's why I like to film my hunts, because there's no guesswork in playing the shot back in my mind. I can press play and watch it over and over and over again. Football players watch games, past games. They watch a lot of football videos. So after playing all the footage back and looking at his reaction after the shot, and then confirming with the arrow, that bird is just fine. And if I still have a tag when he shows back up, or as long as the season is, I can promise you the next time he's not going anywhere. But that's what makes all this story that I'm trying to tell so great. I feel like that's the same bird that I've been messing with all week. That makes the 4th time that I've shot at him, first time that I hit him. I shot a turkey with a bow. Cut it. Had very good blood. Followed very good blood, followed protocol. I waited. After the shot, I gave it ample time, half an hour. Walked over to my arrow, discovered blood. Waited another 15 to 20 minutes. Looked around my arrow. I ended up flushing that turkey. It flew across the river, the Kansas River, and was gone. He left a bed of blood. I felt terrible, beat myself up bad. Less than a week later, I went in there with a shotgun during the shotgun season, and I shot that bird to discover that I had cut with my arrow 3/4 of his beard off. And cut him. But he came in just fine, and I followed through with it. It's easy to generalize animals and the way they exhibit behaviors and things. Every animal has its own personality. And you think about it, if that is the same bird that I've shot at now, before today, 3 times, that's the 3rd time altogether that that bird has walked within feet of this blind and me sitting in it, with and without decoys. I highly encourage, for your own sake and your own good and your own peace of mind, it pays to video your hunts. And it forces you to be a better hunter. Because you have to follow everything and do it the right way. And it comes with downfalls, pitfalls, frustrations. But once you get in the swing of it, situations like this, it all pays off and it all makes it worth it. It's right now pushing, it's 20 after 12. There's nothing going on. I haven't heard a gobble in several hours. I got my answers. I have no more questions. I'm very thankful that I did not see more blood. I mean, it could have been good if I would have seen blood, more blood, and blood period, because there's no blood whatsoever. He didn't bleed at all. Only what's on the arrow, which is very, very little. That right there is the most of it. All the rest is fat. But I get to pull double duty, and I think there might be a chance that, granted, he might not walk right up to this blind again, but there's a chance that that bird will come out into the field at some point. I'm hoping to get added confirmation. We'll see. Son of a bitch, it is him. I just started backing up the blind. I'm standing here in a wide open field with that strutter decoy right there. And look who shows up.